Hello, everyone. I'm gonna get a very special site today for Tales from the Quarantine Day 12. Um, it's pretty late here. It's 10:30, and I realized about a few minutes ago that I have not yet done today's entry for Tales from the Quarantine. I also didn't want to get up. Because of that, you get to see me, watch me as I continue to play Battlefield because I don't want to get up. Anyway, what team's doing really bad? God, I've had a string of really bad teams today. I don't know what it is. Day 12 was interesting. Today was what I would probably call my first real bad day. Uh, I had a plan for when I got up today. I knew what I wanted to do, and in fact, I was planning it. I was planning on making it a productive day. Um, what my plan was is I was gonna get up. I was gonna finish off playing Bioshock, because I figured that I was like close to the end, much closer to the end than I actually was. And so I got up, and I got up fairly late. The cat always wakes me up at like 6:15. I got up then, but I went back to bed for a while. And I was like, okay, I'll play Bioshock for a while, but I mean that's not gonna last long. I'm pretty close to the end. And then I'll get up, and then I've got like a bunch of stuff to do, right? Like I need to go pick up my laundry because I forgot to do it yesterday. I was gonna go. I needed to bring poor little Moyete in for some vaccinations, uh, which I actually did end up doing. Um, and I did this, that, and the other. I ended up being way farther from the end of the game than I thought I was, and so I lost a lot of time this morning, essentially. But time actually wasn't even the most important part because I mean, when you're in quarantine and you're basically operating on your own schedule, it like really doesn't matter function like in terms of like functioning a day. If you're just doing something till 2 o'clock. Um, and so I was like, okay, well, yeah, it's kind of late, but I can still get the day out of this. For some reason, I was just feeling bad. I mean, if you just sit there and play a video game for like 3.5 hours, then obviously that has some negative impact on your motivation and how your spirit is feeling for the rest of the day. And so that was my situation. I just was not feeling it. I was just, I mean, there's really no other way to describe it than just I was not feeling it. I just did not want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere, but at the other hand, I've been mentioning this online job. I really have to get this thing done. I mean, I've been letting it just sort of fester for a while, and I mean, it has just been a giant pain in the ass. Damn it, I got. All right. Yeah, it's just been a giant pain in the ass, and it's just something that's going to continue to stay over my head and continue to make me feel bad if I don't do anything about it. So, I mean, I've got to do it, but every time that I go to do it, something bad happens, and like something that requires my like immediate attention, or like, I've got to go fix something, or whatever. Something bad happens that keeps me from doing this task like I need to do it. That continues to be the case. That was today. Motherfucking guys killed me 3 times. Um, that has continued to be the case today. I thought that I had everything that I needed, and then it turns out that I needed to go get an adapter, and then I went to go get the adapter, but I walked out of the store and realized that it was the wrong adapter, and then I went back into the store, only to realize that again bought this same wrong adapter, and now I'm stuck with it. Like I can't do anything. So like I mean, it is potentially useful, but like I mean, not for what I need it for. And I mean, it was fairly expensive, and I mean, not that I'm necessarily hurting for money at the moment, but spending a lot of unnecessary money is, well, nobody likes that. And so, I kind of got just pigeonholed into a bad situation. Still haven't solved it. I've got another sort of idea for tomorrow. Yeah, I see you, motherfuckers. I've got another idea of potentially how to solve it tomorrow. We'll see if that works, but I've been sort of going between harebrained schemes with this particular task for like the last few months. And at this point, it's just like I am more prepared to tear my hair out than I am like to actually accomplish this task. Um, so it may end up be possible that I instead of accomplishing the task just rip out my hair, but we'll see. Haha! I tried to sneak up on me. Yeah. So maybe in tomorrow's episode I'll be talking about how joyful I am about the fact that I finished this stupid thing that I've been trying to do forever, and I got knifed in the back. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean that really got on my head. But luckily, the other things that I needed to do were less involved. Um, but one of them is I had to bring in the cat for some vaccinations. And I mean, so like consider this from my perspective. I am a relatively new pet owner. I have not had Moyete for that much time. And so this is the first time that I had to like take her to the vet. And I mean, I think that anyone who knows anything, or like taking the animal to the vet is a time told story. So like, I mean, it's not unfamiliar. But, like, this is the first time that I had to do it, and I mean, it was just really painful. It wasn't painful. It was just sad. It was sad. I mean, she was giving me these sad little meows the whole way to the vet. I was like, oh, baby, I know, but this is, like, we got to do this though. Just I'm sorry. And I mean, I got in a little text dust up with the previous owner of Moyete, the person who I adopted her from. She was just sort of giving me a hard time. Uh, you know, uh, Remember, in addition to this being the first time that I had to bring her to the vet, I mean, remember that everything that I'm doing has a little bit of difficulty added to it because it's happening in Spanish. And it's not that I can't speak Spanish, it's just that I can't speak Spanish fluently. And so there's like a little bit of difficulty that's added to every situation. And so that was certainly the case here. The vet was sort of he was speaking very quickly and giving me a lot of information all at one time. The owner, I mean, she's otherwise a very nice lady. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like I don't like this person. She's a very nice lady overall, but she was just really breathing down my neck at a time where I was already stressed and ooh, hello, sir. I was already stressed, and I was also just dealing with a difficult situation. So, it left a bad taste in my mouth. It just put me in a bad mood. And, after having lost basically half the day, I was just not in a good mood. I eventually did get most of what I needed done, or most of what I wanted to done. At the end of the day, the only thing that didn't happen was the thing that I wanted to get done the most. Classic. But yeah, so. Oh, oops. Yeah, so I mean, it was a challenging day. Not necessarily a hard day, just sort of one of those days that just requires a little bit of mental toughness and a little bit of patience. Both of which I have, I think. But I'm also in the middle of. I mean, so last night I was talking about apartments. Well, I mean, for the last little bit I've been talking about apartments. And so I mean, I'm committed to one now, which is nice because I mean it gives me a certain level of certainty that I didn't have in the past. But now, so I thought this was sort of like a locked-in thing. I thought it was going to be like, okay, like I say to the person, excuse me, that I want this apartment, and then she's just going to give it to me, or the room in the apartment. And so I messaged her, about what, an hour and a half ago. I was making dinner, and she said, "Okay, let me take the night to think about it." And I was like, "Oh, well, I didn't actually say this, but I was like, oh, why?" I mean, I just kind of assumed that it was mine. But I mean, so I've been waiting for a bunch of things for a bunch of time, so I guess waiting for one more thing for a short period of time isn't that big of a deal. But I mean, it's just one more thing that I would rather be a sort of check on a to do list rather than another thing to wait for. But I digress. So, I mean, that's what's going on here. In terms of the quarantine, because I've been noticing in the last few days, things have been less about, well, less specifically about the quarantine and more just about the Life and Times of Daniel Miles. Which, I mean, I guess if that's what you're into, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But I just feel like I'm straying from the project a little bit. Although, the purpose of projects change. That's certainly true. Um, but a little bit more to the point on the quarantine is, well, look, I mean, it's day 12, and it's pretty much confirmed that, we're going to be here for a minute. And so, I mean, I suppose I don't have that much new information from yesterday. Rat bastard. So, I mean, you know, I'm going to have to take my first grocery store trip soon, actually, which worries me a little bit. I wasn't worried about it until, like, basically today, in which all of these people, all of my friends were going, like, just being a lot more dramatic about the virus than they were in the past. So, it just had me a little spooked. But that's sort of what's on my radar here, both quarantine and quarantine related and not. Killed immediately. Yeah, so that's day 12. I hope you enjoyed this new format. I'm gonna have to be very tactful here because I'm actually only wearing boxers. Yeah. Anywho, that's day 12. Hope everyone had a good one, and I will see you tomorrow for day 13. Let's see if I can do this here. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Bye.